The Korean government and the ruling Grand National Party are considering resuming food aid to North Korea. Education expenses are putting a bigger financial burden on Korean households. Distributors are competing to lower prices of imported products through direct import. Hello and welcome to KBS World News Today. It's Monday, the 8th of September. The Korean government and ruling Grand National Party are considering resuming food aid to North Korea. The government has changed its mind considering harsh conditions in North Korea and world opinion.
The government and the ruling Grand National Party have agreed to review resuming food aid to North Korea. South Korean Unification Minister Kim Ha-jung had said Wednesday that assistance to the North will be reconsidered. The ruling camp says food support is necessary and will review specific aid plans. The date will be set based on the North's rice harvest early next month. The Unification Ministry says sending aid directly will be inefficient, considering that doing so through the World Food Program will cost 15% to 20% more for administrative procedures. Seoul and the ruling party will look for multiple channels to send direct aid. Seoul had been hesitant to send food aid to Pyongyang due to renewed inter-Korean tension. But South Korea has changed its mind in light of the North's worsening hunger problem. Several organizations have urged Seoul to send aid. So South Korea has deemed it necessary to do so, considering world opinion and its relationship with the North. But whether the food aid will go through remains unclear in light of inter-Korean tension and North Korea's move to restore its main nuclear facility.
Education expenses are putting a bigger financial burden on Korean households in the middle of the economic slump. Education costs account for the largest share of household expenses in Korea.
Private academic institutes are thriving despite the stagnant economy. Parents are under a tight budget, but they have hardly cut back on the private education for their children.
줄여지면 좋겠다는 생각을 했는데 근데 저는 애들이 가만히 있으면 사실은 좀 불안해요. 부담스럽더라도 해주는 것 같아요.
Korean parents in the year's first half spent more than $13 billion on education. The figure was up 9.1% from last year. Educational cost accounted for the record high 6.2% of the household spending. Transportation cost also grew due to high oil prices, but spending on entertainment, communication, and food shrank. Koreans are curtailing daily consumption with no increase in income because of inflation, but they've raised spending on education. High-income earners are spending more on private education than low-income earners, widening the disparity gap. But excessive spending on education could hurt the economy over the long term.
어떤 전반적인 소비라는 것이 어떤 특정한 교육과 어떤 특정한 부분에만 국한됨으로 해서 다른 생산성 있는 어떤 소비 지출로 이어지지 못함으로 해서 중장기적으로 볼 때 내수의 어떤 잠재력을 더욱더 소진시키는 어떤 그런 결과를 초래하고 있는 것으로 보입니다.
The Korean private education market is worth an estimated $29 billion.
The air conditions within subway stations can expose people to dangerous levels of dust. The government has announced a new plan to rectify this situation.
This is Suyu subway station in northern Seoul. Every time a train passes through, dust from the rail's gravel is swooped onto the platform. The measured density of microdust is 0.144 milligrams per square meter. This is double the amount of dust outdoors.
많이 안 좋죠. 우선 답답하고 어떨 때는 좀 숨쉬기가 곤란할 때도 있어요.
But an operating deficit is preventing subway stations from improving the station environment. The Environment Ministry has drawn up a plan to invest more than $1.5 billion to improve air conditions in subway stations over 5 years. Areas needing urgent attention will receive government funding.
성면역사 개량 사업, 고압 살수 차량 도입 이런 부분에 대해서 638억 원을 향후 3년간 지원하고자 합니다.
Highly efficient filters will be installed on underground ventilation systems, and gravel between rails will be replaced with concrete. Screen doors will be installed in all stations to keep dust off platforms. Roadway ventilation systems that allow when traffic exhausts will be all rebuilt to at least 1.5 meters above ground.
Many consumers are complaining that the prices of imported products are 2 or 3 times higher than the manufacturing costs. Some distributors are competing to lower prices of imported products through direct import.
This Canadian wine is priced at $88, but a discount chain sells it for nearly $44. That is because the discount chain directly imports and sells the wine without distributors. Another discount chain sells the popular pressure cooker 40% cheaper. The chain also directly imports and sells the cookers. Merchandisers are sending staff abroad to sign contract with the foreign producers to reduce or remove distribution costs.
소비자 입장에서는 일반 상품에 비해서 한 20에서 50% 정도 저렴한 가격에 살 수 있고 저희 유통업체 입장에서도 더 많은 이익을 낼 수 있어 소비자와 유통업체가 동시에 윈윈이 될 수 있는.
Large discount chains in Korea directly import some 400 items. The sales volume of products will likely to exceed $267 million. They plan to increase direct imports and expect sales to grow to $1.3 billion by 2010. But worry is rising that direct imports could hurt domestic manufacturers.
With the Chuseok holiday just days away, the busiest people in Korea seem to be staffed at parcel and delivery services. More people are sending gifts instead of visiting relatives since the holidays are shorter this year.
Demand is greater than usual for parcel delivery. This delivery man says his job seems endless no matter how hard he works.
요새는 하루에 몇 시간이나 주무세요?
저 한 4시간 정도 자고 있습니다.
Early in the morning, parcels from across the country are lined up waiting to be delivered. Once sorted out, they're loaded onto small trucks for transport.
전년 대비해가지고 물량이 30-40%로 증가될 것으로 예상되고 있습니다. 그래서 저희 사업소도 인원을 250명에서 300명 선으로 보강하여 특수기 조작에 만전을 기하고 있습니다.
Despite a sluggish economy and consumption, the number of Chuseok delivery orders is expected to reach a record high this year. This year's Chuseok holidays will come more than 10 days earlier than usual. Delivery companies are more careful about transporting food like fruit and meat as daytime temperatures remain high. For fish and seafood, boxes are filled with seawater and bubbling devices are installed. Some parcels have each serving packaged separately to keep the contents as fresh as possible.
첨가 제품 같은 경우에 에틸렌가스 배출량의 50%를 흡수할 수 있는 흡착제를 사용함으로써 신선도를 대폭 향상시켰고.
Experts advise consumers to take extra care in packaging and fill in invoices themselves as damage and losses occur more frequently over the busy Chuseok season.
A country town earns millions of dollars a year by producing nursery strawberry plants in greenhouses during winter. Here's a look at the nation's biggest farm for young strawberry plants.
Women root out strawberry seedlings in a greenhouse. The plants are 2 months old and 20 to 30 centimeters tall. These strawberries will be sold in winter. A seedling costs almost 20 cents, but orders are pouring in and supply is falling short of demand. The township of Weseomyeon in Suncheon South Jeolla Province is a good place to raise young strawberry plants because of ideal climate. The township is 200 meters above sea level, and the weather is cold with a big gap in the daily highs and lows in summer. Therefore, young strawberry plants hardly die when transplanted.
병충해에 피해가 없고 또 갖다 심어서 고사에서 죽거나 그런 피해가 없고 참 잘 자라서.
Some 150 farmers earn a combined of $2.2 million a year by producing young strawberry plants, or an average of $14,000 per household. The farmer's choice to raise young strawberry plants instead of rice is paying off.
There's a chicken that costs more than $53, but it's no ordinary chicken. A species of the bird grown in the southwestern region is the first poultry product in Korea to obtain an environmental-friendly certificate. Some
20,000 chickens are eating. They have similar characteristics to chickens native to Korea: glistening feathers, a bright red crest, and sturdy dark blue feet. These are a superior breed produced by crossbreeding about 300 species of indigenous chickens since October 2002. Farmer Jung Tae-han has never used antibiotics and allows his chickens to roam freely in their natural surroundings to look for food.
흙 속에서 모이를 헤집고 또 모이를 찾아먹는 습성이 있거든요. 그런 환경을 그대로 유지시켜주면서 키우는 게 중요해요.
He's also kept track of their physical conditions. 6 years of hard work have paid off. Jung's chickens are the first poultry product in Korea to receive an environmental-friendly certificate. The National Agricultural Products Quality Management Service and the National Agricultural Cooperative Federation have found no traces of antibiotics or harmful substances in the birds. One chicken fetches more than $53, and a single egg costs $1.15. They're the most expensive chickens in Korea, but orders keep flooding in. These top-quality chickens are Korean farmers' answer to the influx of livestock imports.
Korean poet Go-eun says his original dream was to become a painter. He's pursuing the dream at age 75.
Poet Go-eun holds a brush instead of a pen. He's dreamed of becoming a painter before the Korean War. Last summer, he decided to give it another try. He's now holding a solo exhibition. At age 75, he's finally realized his life's dream. The dancing curves imply the excitement of the beginning artist. The poet has not forgotten to include people living in the rigid world. The emptied out rather than filled in ink painting implies Buddhist sentiment. His paintings resemble his poetry in that it passionately portrays people's lives. The young boy in him says that he will continue to paint as well as to write poetry. Ko is also aiming to finish his vast Manninbo, or 10,000 Lives collection, by early next year. The 30-volume collection tells of the more than 4,000 people he's met throughout his life.
만인이라고 하는 그런 커다란 벽화, 풍경화 속의 인간상 이런 거라고 할 수 있겠네요. 그들 나는 하나하나를 거기다 자기를 이입시켜서 동화시켜서 그것을 그리고 이렇게 그려야 되겠다고 하고 시작한 것이 벌써 20년쯤 되네요.
Ko has published more than 150 volumes of poetry, but says he still feels like a novice. 5 decades has passed since his literary debut, and he says this is what the poetry means to him.
이야기에는 거짓이 많이 있지만 노래에는 참만이 있다고 그랬어요. 예속담에. 최고의 실언이죠.
Marking half a century as a poet, Ko says he's continuously challenged to write poems in Korean.
These days, Bongpyeong of Gangwon province is clad with snow-white buckwheat blossoms. The 10-day-long Hyo-seok Cultural Festival, featuring buckwheat blossoms and Korean literature, has opened last weekend. The vast plains of Bongpyeong in Gangwon province is cluttered with buckwheat. It is the setting of the novel When Buckwheat Blossoms Bloom, and also home to the author Hyo-seok. Every September, buckwheat blossoms clutter the fields to remind visitors of the story. Here's how Lee described the flowers in his novel. The whole mountainside was covered with buckwheat. The white blossoms that have just begun to bloom look like salt, sprinkled across the fields. The scene was breathtaking under the gleaming moon. Looking upon such an exquisite sight, anyone can be inspired to become a poet or a writer.
구름 위를 사뿐사뿐 걷는 것 같아요. 꽃밭에 오니까요, 팝콘 튀겨놓은 것 같아요.
Everyone seems to be absorbed in this beautiful scenery and the novel. Here's another famous spot in Bongpyeong. It's the watermill wheel, where roving merchant Ho Seung-won, the leading character of the novel, spends the night with a young woman. There's also an art center. A group of artists have renovated an old school. Paintings of the snowy buckwheat blossoms are showcased here. There are works by painter Jung Yeon-seo, who has painted nothing but these flowers for more than 3 decades. Even visitors can try out their knack for art. Some try painting buckwheat flowers on wooden panels. With just a few strokes by the artist, the painting is born into a work of art. The snowy blossoms can be used for making cell phone accessories or necklace. The flowers can also be dried and pressed to be made into another various things. When visiting Bongpyeong, don't forget to drop by at the marketplace. During the 5-day market that opens on every 2nd and 7th day of the month, merchants sell a large variety of medicinal herbs, wild greens, and grains. Various dishes made of buckwheat are made on the spot. How about some buckwheat pancake rolls? Buckwheat batter is cooked into thin pancakes. Stuffing made of kimchi, tofu, and Chinese noodles rolled in and finally sliced into bite-size before serving. You can get a taste of buckwheat dishes not just at 5-day market, but practically anywhere in Bongpyeong. Buckwheat noodles served in cold kimchi water are a savory delight. The cultural festival that has begun last Sunday will be open through the Chuseok holidays. How about spending some time in Bongpyeong for the holidays? Here are today's economic indicators and the weather. That's it for this edition of KBS World News Today. Have a nice day and thank you for watching.